The recent sudden gale of defections in Anambra State, barely 2 months to the November 6 governorship ballot, elicits many historical contrasts in the country's polity. Was it the speculated plans to impeach Governor Godwin Obaseki in the twilight of his first term, or the sudden switch over by some members of the Edo State House of Assembly barely a few weeks to the 2020 governorship election, or the impeachment of Governor Peter Obi barely 1 year into his recovered mandate? What about the sudden interruption in Zamfara State, barely 24 hours to the inauguration of Alhaji Shehu Mokhtar Idris of the All Progressive Congress as the governor? It could be recalled that the Zamfara State Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) returning officer in the election, Kabiru Bala, had declared Idris as the winner after polling 534,541 votes against the 189,452 ballots garnered by his closest rival, Bello Matawale, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) standard bearer. Amid intra-party squabbles that led to APC holding a parallel governorship primary and haste to beat INEC's deadline, Idris' name was forwarded to the commission by the immediate past governor, Abdulaziz Yari, whose faction organized the governorship primary. They said Idris received 301,380 votes to beat Senator Kabiru Marafa, who had been waging a relentless supremacy battle with the then governor for the control of the party structure in the state. Although the governorship primary was scheduled for September 30th, it was moved to October 1st, 2018, and later to October 3rd, when violence broke out between forces loyal to Yari and Marafa. Despite the cancellation of the primary, the exercise that was held on October 7th was faulted by INEC for breaching the regulations. Consequently, the party was ruled out of the contest. But believing that the then national chairman, Adams Oshomole, was siding with the Marafa group, Yari went to court to force the Electoral Commission to accept Idris as APC's candidate for the governorship ballot. Based on the foregoing, it could be deduced that the November 6 governorship poll has already replayed instances of intra-party schemism that defined the build-up to the main election. Granted that the APC enjoyed the power of incumbency at the federal and state levels, the party could not reconcile its internal discrepancies to have a harmonized preparation for the 2019 governorship election. Yari, who was the outgoing governor and candidate for the senatorial pool, insisted on having his preferred candidate Idris as party's standard bearer. Contrary to the governor's design, Oshomole, the national chairman, maintained that the party is supreme and should not bow to the wishes of the outgoing governor. Similarly, in his home, Edo State, the national chairman waved the flag of internal democracy, suggesting that the governor should face a direct governorship primary election. In the melee between Oshomole and Obaseki, politics in the state, especially within the APC, was polarized, leading to the division within the Edo State House of Assembly. The 16 lawmakers that showed solidarity to Oshomole lost 2 members to Obaseki as the November 19, 2020 governorship election approached. Perhaps it was on account of the fact that Governor Willie Obiano is on his way out of office, or based on the internal disagreement between him and some stakeholders of the All Progressive Grand Alliance (APGA), that 6 members of the State House of Assembly switched over to APC. While the Anambra instance is being associated with APC's nomination process, which pitted Senator Andy Uba against the Managing Director of Nigeria Inland Waterways Agency (NEWA), Dr. George Moghalu, the parallel governorship primary in APGA, and recent defection in the state assembly is evoking the memories of Edo State governorship. However, unlike in Edo State, where the contest was between an incumbent and party official, in Anambra State, the outgoing incumbent is struggling to leave behind the preferred successor. It is this determination of Obiano to implant his man as governor that is eliciting talks about the existence of pact between APC and APGA in 2017, when the governor was seeking a second term in office. Having procured influential Anambra citizens, including a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), Professor Chukwuma Soludo, to back his second term aspiration against a ramping former governor and estranged political godfather, Obiano was said to have approached the leaders of the APC to donate the power of incumbency from the center to assist him to overcome powerful opponents. A source disclosed that, apart from pledging to support President Muhammadu Buhari's second term aspiration, the governor said he would welcome whatever demands that could be made in order to ensure that he triumphs in the 2017 governorship polls. As part of APC's soft disposition to Obiano's position, the national leaders started backing down from the determination to clinch Anambra State. The party also wanted to use Peter Obi's tactics of aligning with the federal might against PDP. From the initial plan to field a frontline industrialist, Dr. Chike Obidigbo, who was the consensus choice of Anambra North in 2013 on APGA platform, the APC leaders decided that Dr. Tony Noye should be considered to also humor the billionaire oil magnate Prince Arthur Eze, who did not want Senator Andy Uba, the source disclosed. He noted that before the change of plans, Obidigbo and Uba were invited to Abuja residence of a big player in the presidency, where the frontline industrialist was asked to step down for Senator Uba. Could it then be that Governor Obiano's efforts to propel Soludo's ambition are behind the division within APGA, where, apart from the emergence of Honorable Chukwuma Umweje as rival claimant, some members of the State Assembly refused to endorse Soludo's emergence as standard bearer? After a meeting of some members of Anambra State House of Assembly with the leaders of APC, 6 lawmakers including Nonso Smart Okafor, Lawrence Ezondu, Arthur Chiku, Tim Ifedora, and Edward Obizo moved over to APC. It was gathered that 6 lawmakers that changed platform were enjoined to lead what would emerge as mass defection in the days to come. Sources within the State Assembly stated that as many as 12 legislators attended the Abuja meeting, where it was resolved that the House should form an APC majority preparatory to the new government to be formed in March 2022. The nature of defection gives the impression that APGA seems to lose ground, but APC insider says that Governor Obiano is being taught some elementary lessons in politics, adding he knows that his party has no chance in the forthcoming election. A former governor's aides confided in the Guardian that we felt that His Excellency was playing a script. If not, why did he travel outside the country when the crucial governorship primary was just weeks away? But while insinuations are rife that there was a pact between the outgoing governor and APC leaders, Obiano is said to be plotting a plan B, insisting that he must have a say on who succeeds him because that has been the tradition. However, the defection of 6 lawmakers is said to be unsettling the governor's camp, especially given speculations that electoral field marshals in the state want to create a similar situation that would make the governor run back to Abuja for backing. It was gathered that attempts by supporters to pull through the governor's resolve to empower Soludo by flying the kite of a possible understanding between APC and APGA did not cut eyes with most national officers of APC, especially those with presidential aspirations. The sentiment could have prompted the recent suggestion by a founding member of the APC, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, that APGA leaders should consider fusing into APC to pursue a joint governorship bid. But if the proponents of the electoral understanding craved a situation that could throw up Soludo against Uba, the recent defections must have removed the wind off their sails. Okechukwu had argued that by infusing into APC, APGA leaders would have played themselves into the mainstream of national politics, as well as helping to advance the agitation for a president of Igbo extraction in 2023. Okechukwu, who is a Director General of Voice of Nigeria, VON, explained that if APC wins the Anambra State governorship pool, APC would have secured 3 out of 5 states of the Southeast geopolitical zone. He contended that APGA leaders would not remain politically myopic by insisting on being a big fish in a narrow pond of one state's dominance. The rash of defections is bringing a new dimension to the Anambra governorship pool, particularly coming after the massive grassroots mobilization into the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Zenith Labour Party, and Young Progressive Party, YPP. To be recorded, some prominent APGA stakeholders joined the Save Anambra coalition that adopted the ZLP and its candidate Dr. Obiora Okonkwo. The defection of state legislators to APC could be APC's way of announcing its strategic supremacy. But coordinator of Buhari Legacy Continuity Initiative (BLCI), Ozo Sam Osita, said the defection of the state lawmakers was a pointer to the growing acceptability of APC in Anambra State. Osita maintained that more politicians from other political parties would join APC in the course of the governorship campaigns, adding that it will be obvious that Anambra people are ready to welcome Senator Andy Uba as the next governor of the state. With the evolving political situation and electoral circumstances forced Governor Obiano to reluctantly accept Senator Andy Uba as his possible successor or exacerbate support for Eze Akachukwu Nwankwo of ADC, whom forces of APGA prevented from participating in the party's governorship primary. Whatever happens, it's obvious that Obiano will be sweating in the days to come, whether as kingmaker or acquiescent deal maker.